online to become a private detective. It was a private detective school online, and I paid online. I never heard from them again. I thought to myself, I either got ripped off, or this is my first case. This is a journalistic podcast, Shannon. We vaccinate our listeners with answers. And I'm going to keep lip-syncing the important questions until TikTok gives me a show. Shannon, how can the moon landing be real if the moon itself is fake?
It's not true, Mike.
Oh, isn't it true, Shannon? You're fake. You're a hologram.
1 in 5 New Yorkers are food insecure. What's your solution for that, Mike?
Fortune cookie. Because that's food and advice at the same time. Shannon, at least have the decency to backstab me, okay? You stab me in the front every time. Some fans can't watch the podcast because they're triggered by our sexuality. And message to those fans, we will leak a sex tape right into your mouth.
This is Mike Vecchione Investigates.
And you're not better than me. Welcome to another episode of Mike Vecchione Investigates, guys. I'm so happy that you joined us. Thank you for joining in and being with us. I love that you guys are with us, and I love going online and chatting with a few of you, and then having you guys watch the podcast. Thank you. We need numbers, and I have to be fun to hang out with from what the notes Shannon has given me. I've got to be more fun to hang out with, apparently. I guess journalism is getting in the way of that, and I'm very sorry that I was trying to do journalism, and I should just be a fun hang. I should be a funner hang. Interesting, if I look a little different on my camera, it is different because I have stopped wrestling with the chairs at the Gas Digital Studio to try to get lifted up higher. The chairs adjust if you're shorter to make you look taller, and I usually like to raise the chair up as much as possible to establish dominance over the guest. But I've quit. I've quit doing that, and I've just accepted the fact that the chair is low to the ground, and I remember when I went to South Korea, the good Korea, the North one is not welcoming, and we would sit and eat on the ground, and that's what this kind of feels like, a Korean episode of Mike Vecchione Investigates, because I'm very low. But I will not fight with the chairs anymore in this studio. Thank you guys for joining us. A lot happening. I was on the road, was moving, was shaking, but now I'm back in New York, and I have a guest who's a dear friend, and he's hilarious. Is he of a different ethnic background? Yes, he is, and we're going to get to that. But sometimes adversities can bring people together. Sean Donnelly is here, everybody.
Yes!
Sean, thank you for coming in. Man.
Thank you. I'm so glad to be here. I feel like I'm on... This is real journalism. I feel like I'm on MSNBC, like Ari Melber or something, it's hard-hitting.
It's hard-hitting journalism. We get to the bottom of stuff, but apparently the fans don't like that. They like you hanging out with your friends and having a laugh. Yeah. And being like a chummy, and it's like, what about that? It's like, I remember that time, dog. And then, and then it's like fist bumps all around. Everybody just laughing at their own jokes, and that sells now in this TikTok vaping generation that we're in.
Have you thought about dancing? I like smiling, Mike. What about dancing?
You know what I'm ready to do?
Mike?
I'm ready for to have each guest halfway through the conversation just take a swing at me. I'm serious, like really take a swing at me, and we'd have to clear some stuff out or whatever, or just organically if I say something, then you just like, or just like a water throwing podcast where it's like we have our glasses filled with water, and if you say something that I slightly disagree with, I throw water at you. Those are the clips.
There's a clip from Shark Tank where they do that exact thing, and it's viral, Mike. It's viral.
It's viral?
Yeah, it's viral. Richard Branson pours water on Mark Cuban, and it broke the internet, Mike.
Wow.
Yeah.
But we would have non-famous people. We'd be pouring non-famous. We'd be pouring. Maybe if we put
me with water on myself.
Well, if we had really high-end bottled water and you pour it on a non-famous person, do they become famous?
Oh, that's an interesting.
That's very.
I like that.
Yeah, it's not so much funny as it is interesting.
Yes.
And that's what podcasting is now. It's interesting.
It's very. That's what
We
you want.
have to be interesting. We have to say cutting edge things.
Absolutely. I'm
what
here
I'm
to
about
say the
now.
most interesting things I can.
What are you going to say? Do you have any stories or anything? I just like lean on the guests now completely for stories. Did anything happen to you, fake or real, on the way over here? Because I noticed you were holding court in the other room before the podcast, and I'm like, save it for the show, Sean. I'm trying to coach you up a little bit.
Yes.
Because you're in there just spending all of your comedic energy, and I was furious. I flew off the handle. I smacked Shannon.
What?
Yeah.
You hit Shannon.
I hit Shannon.
You're admitting that right now on the pod.
Yeah.
What did she do? Did she hit you
Well,
back?
can I say something? This is where I walk it back. I was having a grand mal seizure because you were spending your comedic energy in there, and I spun around in a Y, kind of like outside in the rain. Why? And then I grazed Shannon's face. But the clip will be that I hit Shannon. And then if anybody attacks me, then I'll walk it back to I was spinning in a circle and it grazed her beautiful face.
Yeah, that's actually the perfect way to go viral. You go, watch the full video.
Yeah, watch the full video.
Watch the full
Because
video.
what you're doing is attacking me right now.
Or look, watch till the end. They love to
Yeah.
do that with these videos. Watch till the end. And guess what? Nothing happens at the end, Mike.
Nothing does.
I watched I wasted seconds of my
Yeah.
life. Watch till the end. Oh, you're just being a jerk. That's
Right.
what you're doing.
Right.
You're making me watch a video that I didn't have to. I could have gotten in the first 12
Which
seconds.
you're watching for free.
Exactly.
By the way,
Exactly.
Sean.
Well, I got
Did
smacked.
you get accosted on the way here?
No, but I did in Rockaway Beach. I got smacked in the face. At
Oh
a
my
bar.
God. At a bar?
Yeah. Some guy, I go, what book
Who
is
hits
that?
an Irishman at a bar in his natural habitat?
I know.
Thank you for laughing. That helps the show. It helps the show, and so do your likes and subscribes.
It's like poking a bear in the
Yeah.
Adirondacks.
You don't hit an Irish in a bar.
You don't. You do not.
Okay, so what was the circumstances? Because that matters.
The guy was reading a book at a bar, and I was
Oh my God!
fuck that guy.
Nerd reading a book at a bar? You should have smacked him.
That's what I was
Dorky
thinking.
McDorkerson?
I was drunk.
Cut off his finger, use it as a bookmark? Is that something you would do? Violent?
When I was in the Westies. Yeah. It was.
Yeah, the Westies.
Yeah.
I asked Shannon we should turn this into a mafia podcast, and Shannon was staunch against it. She goes, Mike, you're going to waste your comedic talent. I go, it's wasted already. It's out the window. It's over. I don't want to do it anymore. Why do you think I'm having a journalistic podcast?
And you do love mafia stuff. So do I.
I do love mafia.
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
And the Westies they're an Irish organized crime gang who were brutal, by the way. They decapitate people.
Yeah.
They cut their heads off. For those of you who don't know what decapitate is.
Yes.
Sean,
It's a vocabulary
so
podcast.
a guy's reading at the bar. You walk in. I'm focused on the narrative.
Not walking. I'm already there.
Yeah.
I'm getting drunker. I'm on vacation. I very politely go, what book is that? And I might have touched the book.
Yeah.
Which was a bad mistake with this guy because he was basically a psychopath. And he pushed me back and then full on with a giant swing, smacked me in the face.
Oh my God,
And then
Professor Payne.
And I did like De Niro in Raging Bull.
Yeah.
I'm like, you didn't knock me down, Ray. You didn't knock me
you
down.
did?
Oh, I did not. It didn't get knocked down. It didn't really do much.
Did he knock your glasses off?
I did not have them on at the time. I don't drink with my glasses on. I don't really read that much.
What about your drinking glasses?
Yes.
We're rocking now.
There we
like and
go.
subscribe. Like and subscribe. So this guy, was there like a yelling fight afterwards? As there is in New York, usually there's like a yelly fight.
My girlfriend dragged me out of the bar, and for some reason I was the one who had to leave. I don't know why. The bouncers were like, "All right, get out of here," and I was like, "Why me? This guy is like
He
hit
hit
me twice, and I
Right.
didn't retaliate.
Wow.
I in my head said, I'm not gonna do anything, and I just stood there and I said,
Because he probably hits like very weak because he's reading a book.
exactly
Weak men.
It was like getting
read
smacked with a
books.
feather, Mike. It was like nothing, and I took it.
Yeah.
Like a man,
Yeah.
like an Irish gentleman. I took
Yeah,
it. Yeah,
you took it. And that guy was reading at the bar, which is frowned upon in your culture. And he's reading in a bar trying to learn something about something. And you just said, what book is that? You didn't even call him a name or bully him.
No, I go, what book are you reading? And I must have touched the edge of the book,
Yeah.
and that threw him into he must have been a librarian, I think, because he did not like me touching that book.
He did not like you touching the book. Do you think he is on the spectrum?
I think
Because
he just
that's part of the spectrum when they get upset if you they have very particular.
it's very possible,
Yeah.
but I think that he was just drunk. He was secretly drunk himself. Yeah, like a quiet drunk reading a book at the bar.
Just having a drunk read?
Personality disorder. Exactly. Just loaded. I don't know how you do that as a person reading
did you
a
ever
book
think,
drunk.
let's think of what the backstory could be for him since you didn't bother to stick around and find out.
I did not.
You
I was out of
left
there. Yeah.
like a deadbeat dad. So maybe it was he had to get this book, he had to read it for a book club, and he got frustrated, and he was like, I'm going to go out and have a beer, and that'll make the reading easier. And then he got drunker and drunker and couldn't make it through. And then some guy starts poking at his book, and he decides to have a go at him, as they say in England.
It started molesting his book. And then he freaked out.
Yeah.
Also, I don't see how that's ever logic. That what you just said. He goes, I need a quiet place to read. Let me go to an Irish bar in Rockaway Beach, called Connolly's.
It doesn't make any sense.
It was called Connolly's, Mike. Yeah. I could have sued for the bar.
Yeah.
Changed the letter. It's my bar, Donnelly's.
Donnelly's.
There you go.
Oh my God, you flipped it.
Yeah, you want to injure me in your bar? Guess what? Now I own your bar.
Ooh.
All I did was touch a book.
That's a good what should we call it? Barnes and Donnelly?
Barnes. Hey, number 2.
That's the name of a bookstore. Anyway,
which is going away, I think, right?
Let's do a review of the fight because they do book reviews.
Okay.
Let's do a review of the fight. Okay, you went to go touch the book. Hey, what book is that? He open hand smacks you.
Smacks me big time, yeah.
Okay, and you stumble back. And the bouncers tell you to leave. Obviously, they're also readers. The readers stick together.
It's one of those roving book gangs.
The literates stick together, and they hate the illiterates. This guy was being a real Moby Dick.
These book club guys. That was good. I liked it.
That was a good one.
Yeah.
But that's a really long book. You have to read that at a bar. You have to read it everywhere to get through it.
And to pick up girls.
Yeah.
So
what? Oh my God! I almost
okay?
choked on my own. Oh,
your own hilarity.
I almost died trying to get likes and subscribes. I went down the wrong pipe, and I'm going to sue the studio, Shannon, because this chair is too low, and I look like a little person, which are celebrated now. Okay, so you're in the bookstore. What was
No, it's not a bookstore. It was a bar. It
wasn't a bookstore. It was a bar.
Yes.
I changed the facts.
You did.
Would you rather be? Is it better to be drunk or reading at a bar or drunk in a bookstore?
I would say, wow, that's a really great question.
That's a great one. That's a great one. I'm coming up with some great ones, Shannon.
I tell you, one of them you get kicked out way fast. Drunk in a bookstore.
Yeah. Did you see the one inside? I watch Inside Editions now, and the guy was like
the old ones, or are they still around?
No, they're like clips.
Yeah.
I don't have a lot of time, but they but this guy was just like pretending to look at a book and trying to look up women's skirts at bookstores. He got thrown out of a bookstore. Would you rather be that guy or the guy who's reading at a bar and has some...
Reading at a bar guy.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
I think you're less of a blight on society because you can get away with more in a bar than a bookstore. Like he did. He hit me and then just went back to reading his stupid book.
Oh, my God.
But yeah, if you're drunk in a bookstore, chances are you might go to jail quicker, right?
Yeah, that's not fun. It's not fun to be drunk at a bookstore.
No, it can't be.
No.
Everybody's a rough hang at a bookstore.
Yes.
This guy was a minority at the bar. He was by himself.
But nobody wants to talk. There should be a drunk book club. Do you think that's an idea?
That's a really good idea.
You read the book,
that should
you
be the
get
next
drunk,
and then podcast.
That's really good.
Drunk book club.
Drunk book club.
You read the book and then you
get hammered.
You get hammered and review
and then you debate it.
This is drunk history, guys.
But not with books.
I think they read the book first and then act out the thing after.
Oh, okay. So you're saying everything's been done ever of all time?
Everything's been done.
I'm still down to do this. I like this.
I think committing to a podcast is too much commitment. I think we should do just a different one every to see what sticks. People do that.
Oh, they try out 15 different podcasts? Yeah, but you might as well.
Different ideas.
They're basically like business cards now.
They really are.
Hand them out there. You know what I'm saying?
So, your girlfriend, what's the conversation like with your lady after the bar fight with the guy who's reading?
I must have a face where I look like I'm the one who's going to start the fight because all I was told after he hit me... You
kind of do.
Yeah.
You kind of do.
All I was told was, what'd you do? And I was like, I didn't do anything. I touched the guy's book. You touch a book, doesn't warrant a slap,
right.
Mike. And legally,
right.
it does not warrant a slap.
You're right.
It's not a damage of property of anything. I did
Right.
not say anything to this gentleman. I just said, "Oh, what book you reading?" Boop, boop, doop,
Yeah,
boop.
but did you
I went
go-
like this to a book? Coochie.
I was gonna say
I tickled his book.
You tickled his book. Tickled his book could be a new thing for this generation. The softer, nicer generation. Tickling a book could be a big thing. No, did you go like this before you touched it? And for those of you who can't afford a computer, I licked my finger as if to turn a page.
I just turned. I
Yeah.
turned his page for him.
Yeah.
That actually would warrant a slap. I think maybe
page turner?
a page turner.
Yeah.
He's in the middle of a sentence. Boom. How about that?
Well, I think that's a spoiler alert because you turn to the next page and he's.
You know, it's making more sense of why he's slapping now. Right?
Yes.
Maybe I inadvertently turned a page.
And you know what? Did you even realize that you were investigating this? But you are.
I am right
and
now.
And it's an investigation, and you're investigating it. It seems like we're just having a fun hang.
But you're right.
Right? But we're investigating what your fight was and where you could have been wrong and why this stranger. Isn't that fun to make him a stranger?
Yeah.
He's a stranger.
Yeah, like an elusive, like dark, shadowy
Right.
stranger.
Did he have an overcoat on?
No.
That makes it better.
But I think he had a ponytail though.
Oh, my God.
So he's like he's like Slender Man, very skinny, very mystical and mysterious.
What was the book about? Crystals? Okay. Sean, well, you went home. What did your girl, like, did she give you a hard time?
She gave me a hard time
touching
on the Uber back, and then it kind of blew over because I told her I didn't do anything. And
When you have an argument with a woman in an Uber, do you let the Uber driver settle it?
that's your other podcast, Uber Court.
Uber court. So you think you can Uber?
That's a brilliant
Court?
idea.
Uber court.
Let your Uber, you and your girl having a problem, a relationship problem. You and your guy, you get in an Uber
Yeah.
and you say you decide. You're the mediator.
Yeah.
Uber mediation. Uberation.
Uberation. Yeah.
Uberation. Did I say that right?
I think you nailed it.
Thank you.
That's a great idea.
I think you just made it up. You just did it.
Did I?
Yeah. Yeah.
We'll have to play it back.
Too bad Corden's gone. James Corden
Yeah.
would have been a great side piece for car karaoke,
Yes.
whatever it's called.
Well, car karaoke's fun. Ours is settling issues. Well, no, and then depending on how the fight ends is depending where he drives you. He drives you to divorce court. He drives you to the park to
Yes.
celebrate if you guys make amends.
Yes, the ending is it shows you if the relationship's going to work. You don't want it to get too dark if it's like custody. You're bringing the kids into the car.
Yeah. Well, I assume they're in the trunk. Okay. Guys, I watched. That's an interesting story,
Thank
Sean,
you.
and that's a great story.
Thank you.
And those are valuable in podcast land.
You're right.
They're very valuable. And thank you for sharing it with us because you could have been selfish and just savored it and kept it on your own podcast. And then you would have got the likes and subscribes, but you came and you shared it with us. And I thought you spent all of your energy out there,
Yep.
but you were just probably warming up.
I was getting
Yeah.
the juices flowing.
Well, Tom Brady, throws passes before he gets in a game to warm up his shoulder. And I think that's what you were doing out there.
I absolutely was.
But you had everybody engaged. And I got jealous of that. As a performer, I got jealous that you had everyone engaged, and I was like, no. Now half of them are on fentanyl because this is gas digital, but you had them engaged.
I did. You're absolutely right. Yes, I was.
Can I tell you what happened to me last night?
Yes, you can.
I got home from the road, and I was, Katie Hannigan, my lover, says to me, do you want to watch a show? I said, okay. She goes, it's called Ultimatum. And Shannon, do you know something about this?
Sure
Because
do.
ladies love Ultimatum. And it's when couples come in and one person wants to get married and the other person doesn't, and they give the other person the ultimatum. Either you marry me or I'm gone. And it's like 4 couples. And then if the person... There's a period there where they don't know if they're gonna get married or not, so they check in with the other people. You know, they well, I can't make it with you. Maybe these 4 or 5 other people, I can connect with one of the other.
Are they randos or are they
People.
people from their life?
No, they're random.
Really?
Yeah.
Is this like the blind love people? Blind, which I love. What's the show called, Shannon?
Love is Blind.
Love is
Love is
Blind.
Blind.
Yes, it's also a Netflix production. Yes.
But if it's the same people, Love is Blind is a crazy show.
This show
So
is
this
about-
sounds even
This
more
show is
bonkers.
about an ultimatum
Right.
where it's like one person's ready to get married, the other person isn't, and then they talk it out, and that the other person isn't, then they have a chance to they all have a chance, the couples all have a chance to mingle and be like, maybe somebody else in this small subset of a group is willing to marry me if you're not.
Wow. Pretty brutal.
It's a small. Katie made a good point today. She goes, why would they just restrict it? Why wouldn't they just have them dating in the world instead of like restricting it to like 4 or 5 other people? It's like, you're not going to marry me. Maybe one of these 4 or 5 other people who are going through the same thing will marry me.
Because it's reality TV and they know the 4 or 5 others are they're going to act like they're way more interested.
Yeah.
Because if they're just going regular life, you could be there for 3 weeks before they get like
Right.
a decent date. But these people who are like, we signed up to be the second choice to an ultimatum are going to either they're trying to be famous or they're trying to meet somebody, whatever it is. But
I like the fact that they separate from their person. Okay, they're like, we have to figure this out. Maybe we should see other people. And then they start talking to the other person like, you feel this way too? I feel this way too. We're really connecting. It's like, you've known him for 30 seconds. You've known this person for 30 seconds. Like, I feel like I've known you a lifetime. I feel like I could actually see a life with you. It's like, are you being fed this by the producer? I feel like you're being fed this by the producer to make it more interesting for us.
Are you all lab mice? Are you just put you in the same
What are you talking
in the
about?
same container
I think
and you
we
fall
match
in
up
love?
pretty good.
That's when you know you are the most boring person on the planet. You go, oh my, you like ice cream?
Yeah.
I like ice cream. Holy shit! What are the chances? You know what I mean?
It's fantastic.
Those shows are so entertaining. Like I didn't
They're
watch.
very entertaining. I couldn't watch it after the a couple of episodes. I was like, babe, we gotta cut it off because it's just terrible. There's too much downtime. The segments are too long. They're like talking about their emotions too much, and it's like, okay, we get the gist, but bounce to the next couple. Because when they see one couple going at it. It's real flammable, you know, they're real emotional. It's like they focus on them harder and everybody else gets less time. It's like, no, I get it. They're unstable, but like move to the other people. We want to see them too.
And they're making the good TV, those people.
That's right. They're making the good TV
wanna
because
hear-
we all are unstable and we all flip out in the parking lot sometimes and yell at our person on live television. We all do that.
It's a human trait.
We're all guilty.
Absolutely.
And some of us try to grab a book at a bar when we're drunk. And we won't admit it. Will we?
I did admit it. I said I tried to grab it.
Yeah.
I lightly touched it.
Okay.
But
is-
when you're drunk, I was drunk.
By the end of this podcast, will you be admitting that you grabbed it?
Yeah. I probably did grab the book.
Oh my God. We broke you down.
Man, you are
We
like
broke you down.
Edward R. Murrow. You are morally safer. All wrapped into one.
Because I gave you an ultimatum.
Yes.
I had to give you an ultimatum. And by the way, I was using that word wrong all day today. Like I woke up and Katie was like moving around in bed and she wasn't really ready to wake up. So I just, I looked at her and I said, I love you. And she goes, oh my God, that's so sweet. I go, I just gave you an ultimatum. She goes, that's not what it is. I go,
There was no question mark.
yes, it was. It was an ultimatum. I love you.
Either you keep moving or I love you. Do you watch 90 Day Fiance with Katie?
Yeah, I watch all those. And, you know, it's gotten to the point where it's like, we're watching the British one now.
Yeah.
It's like we're mixing it up. Like the British people going to like, what is that, Shannon?
Somebody's doing work.
So yeah, it's been about 3 weeks that
Yeah.
they've been doing some sort of drilling, and it comes through the mic. So for the listeners, we're aware of it, but there's nothing we can do about it.
Oh my God.
Sounds like little tiny farts.
Yeah, it's from like 9 a.m. and it goes through forever.
Right.
So I apologize.
Do you want to hear my 90 Day Fiance?
Yes.
Yeah. I have kind of a crazy story about that.
That's
Before,
great.
when I was single, I would go on dates on a date. I went on Bumble once. A date with a girl from Bumble. And it was one of those dates where it was so boring. The girl didn't ask me any questions about myself. Nothing. There was no back and forth. But at one
She didn't ask you any questions.
Not one.
She talked about herself constantly, though?
I just kept asking her, pulling information out of
Right.
her. And at one point, almost like this podcast, I was the investigator in that situation.
Right.
Anyway, at one point, she tells me she has some corporate job during the day, and that she works. She has a 90 Day Fiance meme account at night that she works on, whatever it is.
Right.
And she goes, "Yeah, the cast members, they'll hit me up and the blah blah blah." And I'm like, "All right, cool. Date ends, awkward, never happening again. I see Tracy Carnazzo, I think you know,
Yeah,
right?
no,
She has a
Tracy.
90 Day Fiance podcast.
Right.
And I go, she goes, you should do it. I go, I don't watch the show, but this is what happened to me. I went on the team with this girl. She was brutal. At one point, I go, oh, that's cool. You have a meme account. And the girl on the date goes, I just put the content out there. If they like it, they like it. If they don't, they don't. I never wanted to hit somebody in the face harder in my life. I wouldn't have done it. I'm a gentleman, but whatever. Anyway, Tracy goes, you have to watch out for those 90 Day Fiance people because there's this one girl online who has 2 cast members who have a restraining order against her. And she goes by, and it was that girl. And I
Oh my God. Did she have restraining order energy?
She
You
did.
felt
She
it.
kind of did. It was a little bit creepy, man. I forget the name of the account, and I wouldn't say it anyway, but the minute she said it, I was like, that's the girl.
Wow.
That's the girl I want to date with.
And
yeah.
you almost got married to her.
We did. We did. 90 days later.
90 days later. But I feel that way sometimes too. I feel like people are like, Mike, you're so funny. You're really funny. Your special's amazing. You're doing really funny. I go, it's not me. I'm just a conduit to the spirit of funny. I'm just let the feeling of funny come through me. And I'm just what do you call that? A medium,
So,
basically.
yeah. So your
And
comedy's
I just-
paranormal at this point?
it just funnels through me. And I'm just a satellite.
A vessel?
A vessel.
There you
Thank
go.
you.
Yeah.
And you look like a sea captain. So that really helped the analogy.
This smoke break is brought to you by YoDelta.com, the official Getting High sponsor of the Gas Digital Network.
But your girlfriend you're dating now,
Yes.
it's like you guys met on a Bumble date?
We met
Or
on
did-
Hinge.
Oh, wow.
But we kind of did this thing where we did.
Hinge is like a high class Bumble.
It's like high class. It's like
Okay. Do you have to pay a fee?
It's like your TBS to your HBO.
Oh, okay.
Tinder's HBO.
Right.
Hinge's TBS. It's more family friendly.
Right.
You don't. No, I didn't pay a fee. You just on the app. I think you pay for certain things, but
When she makes you mad now that you're already together, she makes you mad, and to show it, I think it's funny if you hold up your phone and you go like this, and it's like, what are you doing? It's like, I'm swiping right to reject you.
right now,
Yeah. I'm rejecting everything you're saying right now.
retroactively.
Retroactively
Yeah.
rejecting you.
The only thing she might be mad is I don't know if anybody you know has this time blindness. She has, which I didn't hear this phrase until recently.
Right.
She cannot
Which
be on
means
time.
it's fake.
Right.
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 Time blindness?
Time blindness. Like she can't be on time for anything. Like to the point where like she could have plenty of time. She's all ready to go. She'll do things to make herself late. Like it's and she doesn't mean anything by it. She's not disrespecting anybody, but she just has this thing called time blindness.
Do you think that's called just being a woman? Dad's going to get his canceled. Hopefully. And then we could fight back. Listen to the whole podcast. We actually say that women can be astronauts pretty frequently here.
But just astronauts.
Just astronauts.
But yeah, maybe it is.
Maybe
but
she's being an astronaut. Maybe she's preparing. She's going to a secret astronaut school, and you don't know about it. And she's just saying, I'm doing my makeup and crying over a boy. It's like, no. She's doing a secret astronaut school.
Or because she's astronaut training, she has a different understanding of space-time, and that's why she's late.
And maybe she's in a black hole.
Exactly.
That's a space-time continuum.
Yes,
I think
of
it
that.
was Einstein who said that. Einstein married his cousin, so I don't know how
That is true,
he
right?
did marry his cousin.
Yeah, but only in this dimension. You never
Yes,
know
that's
what's
right.
going on in other ones.
So she has time blindness, and she uses that. She looked it up. You said, were you yelling at her about being, not yelling at her, that's toxic. You were calling her on the carpet about being late, making her take some responsibility, which is something that, I don't know, younger people don't know. But it's a thing, you call her on the carpet about being late, and she kept saying, no, I have a disability.
No, I'm the one who figured out that she had, because she's like egregiously late, and I don't yell at her for it. I just I try to hold it in, but she can just tell I'm visibly upset that
Right.
she's not ready to go somewhere when I'm ready to go somewhere. And she's like, all right, just a minute, but it goes on and on and on. It's every single thing.
Right.
Everything.
And that Irish temper gets activated.
Ooh, like a cartoon thermometer, right?
Okay, so you looked it up and you said you must have a disability because this is not normal. I know you would not be because you love me, so you wouldn't be
Right.
You wouldn't be purposely trying to infuriate
And
me.
I don't think she is. Yeah.
Right.
But she said like she preemptively has said early on. She's like, I'm late, and just so you know, I've learned in the past she had to give like a disclaimer. Remember like HBO before a movie
Yeah.
would come on, they give like an FBI disclaimer.
Yeah,
Or like
she said, "Do not record this and use it for your own purposes."
Yeah, exactly.
And I did that every time.
She had hers was like, I don't disrespect your time. I need you to know this is not on purpose. Like when going forward. And she's
Right.
like, is that okay? And I was like, yeah, totally. To be honest, I'm so the other way. It's mellowed me out. It's made me okay to be like 2 minutes late, 3 minutes late. You know, or right on time instead of being a half hour early like my psychotic brain tells me.
It's such a great psychological thing that she did with you, because I'm going to start doing that, you know. I'm going to do it with Katie, where it's like, I have this thing where I rifle through your purse and I steal stuff. It's a psychological thing. So when I do it, just know that I can't control it.
Yeah.
Or something like that.
Yeah. What would you call that? Like, it's not time blindness. It's just
No.
law blindness.
It's a felony is what it's called. It's actually a felony.
Kleptomania.
Kleptomania.
Kleptomania. I'm a klepto.
It's a real thing.
Or you could do it if you want to be like, I'm a sex addict. A lot of people do that. It's like, you were sleeping with a bunch of different women. It's like, I'm a sex addict.
Yeah.
I thought I mentioned that at the beginning of the relationship.
Do you think that exists? A lot of people think that's made up. Sex addiction.
Yeah, I think that's kind of made up.
Yeah. I think that.
I think people have higher libidos than other people.
Yeah.
That it's harder to control.
Yeah.
Because we all have these vices around. It's like eating, sex, drinking. These are all like pleasurable things that if you immerse yourself in it, you could really go off the rails on any one of them. You
Absolutely.
really can. You can
Yeah.
just overeat yourself to death. You can like drink yourself. You can just sleep with, because these are pleasurable like things. And if you don't have discipline and like realize like, oh, I can't just do this as much as I can't just go off the rails on this.
No.
I need to like, even when you're with a person, one person, it's like, I mean, if you're having sex multiple times a day, every day, it's like, take a spin class. Yeah. You got to do something else. It's like, that's not healthy either.
Get it out other ways.
Get
as
it
well.
out other
Yeah.
ways.
Yeah, get more well-rounded
Yeah.
than just banging away. But you're absolutely right. I think that, like they say, everything in moderation. Like
Yes.
everything in moderation.
Right.
And the eating one is probably one of the toughest. It's not the toughest because you got to eat.
Right.
And you know, got to have sex.
You got to have sex. You got to eat.
Yeah. But that's a main human drinking. You can be like, hey, you don't have to have
Yeah,
alcohol.
right.
You know, a lot of people like they need weed to kind of cope with everyday
Right.
stuff. You don't have to do it, you know,
Right.
technically. But when it comes to the other ones, it's like that's got to be hard. That the minute you start eating, you're like, I overeat. You know.
Right. But it's, and I struggle with it. I struggle with that. But it's like, you have to be in the moment and be like, okay, I'm going to stop
Yeah.
eating.
Yeah.
Or at least investigate it a little bit to be the point where it's like, I'm going to try to figure this out instead of just, most people just ignore it and go, it's just the way it is. I'm just hungry. It's just the way that it is. It's like, oh no, it's not the way that it is. It's the way your mind is working because it's easier instead of like being like, oh, this is an issue. I should at least, I'm not even saying curb it. I'm just saying try to investigate it and hopefully you curb it and you live a happier life because of it.
Well, we both kind of had that. We both did the intermittent.
Yeah.
And it helped me a lot. Actually made me like what you're talking about, intermittent made, you know, that's when you eat, like you don't eat after like, you know, depending on your time,
Right.
8, 9 o'clock, like you're a
Right.
gremlin or something. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying? Like whatever it is. So.
But it forces you to be conscious of what you're eating and when you're eating.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it helped me. Every other thing I've tried, it was like no carbs, no this. I've always gone back.
Right.
It's like you're cutting things out. But the intermittent thing made me want to cut things out once it worked and then it plateaued. I don't know if you had the same thing. I was like, oh, now I want to look for ways that I can make this work even better.
Right.
Yeah. So like by de facto made me a little bit healthier.
Yeah, because you start, I mean, for me, I was just eating anything I wanted and then stopping and then eating anything I want and 2 meals a day and then fasting for 24 hours. And I've modified it since I realized it's much easier when I cut bread and I cut all the sugars.
I was the same way.
It's like, oh man, this is way easier
Way
if I'm
easier.
cutting. If I'm cutting, because I crave so hard. That sugar makes you crave.
Oh, I was a soda addict, man.
Yeah.
It was like insane.
I mean, soda, I never kind of, like, I did a little bit, but I'm
candy guy?
conscious of the fact that soda is a nightmare. And it's one of those things where people just take it for granted. Coca-Cola and Pepsi are just, I mean, they're just,
Ruined like 3 generations.
it's almost like they've, woven themselves into the fabric of America
Yeah.
to be like Coca-Cola and Pepsi. That's America. It's like, it's sugar water. It's nuts.
And you see it now. Now they're kind of getting bucked on. It's going the other way. They're kind of getting called out for
That's
it
good.
now, and that's why they have all the Coke Zeros and all that stuff. Because
No, I think that's
they're
still like
losing
other
money.
chemicals in it that
Yeah, it's
probably
true.
gives you Coke Zero. I think gives you an
Makes you
automatic
sterile.
vasectomy.
Yeah.
I think it does, and I think you can quote me on that. And if you want to come after me, Coke and Pepsi, these are powerful companies. Gas Digital has its own lawyers. The rattlesnake will hire a Jewish mongoose
They use Eric I. I remember Eric I.
to defend me in a court of.
Too inside baseball. Eric I reference.
But
Robbie Bernstein.
Robbie Bernstein will.
Is he a lawyer? Or he's just Jewish.
Yeah, that. A chosen, if you will.
He's a chosen. I've chosen him to defend me in this lawsuit. No, but it's really unbelievable to me that people don't even, because you're suffering and you don't even realize it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that was me for like a long, long time, dude. And so once I figured this, and don't get me wrong, I've slacked, I've gone back and forth.
Yeah, me too.
But if I stay
Me too.
on if I have that in my mind, like the 2 meal a day thing, I do that as well. It's like, oh yeah, I don't need. Once I got used to the pattern of it, I still only do 2 meals a day.
Right.
Every day. You
Yeah.
know? So but then booze gets involved. I still drink. You don't drink,
Yeah,
right?
I don't drink anymore now.
I
But
should
booze
stop.
is
Booze will do it.
yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
But I walk past the
Booze will get you slapped in the face at a library bar.
If you interrupt somebody from reading, get that guy. I take it you're more of a book on tape guy. That's why you grabbed his. Wow, this is the story that keeps on giving, Donnelly.
Or audiobook, yeah.
36 minutes
Podcast.
in, guys. Did I tell you that I appreciate you being here and listening to this show and watching it? I do. I love you guys. And okay, so let's go to plugs now.
Okay.
And then I gotta use your. I don't want it to go to waste, so I want to use your comedic abilities on some of these investigative stories that we're going through.
Perfect.
Okay, so my social media platform is at Comic Mike V. In case you guys have been living under a rock, at Comic Mike V on all social media platforms. MikeVecchione.com for dates. Shannon, if you could pull them up. I'm in San Diego coming up this weekend, American Comedy Company. I'm very excited. I've never been to San Diego, so I'm going to San Diego, and then I'm going to spend some time in LA to do some podcasts, and then I will be in Springville, Utah, which I've never been to Utah, September 8th and 9th. So September 1st and 2nd, American Comedy Company in San Diego. Utah, September 8th and 9th. Atlanta, Georgia, The Funny Bone, September 15th through 17th. Huntsville, Alabama, September 21st through 23rd. And Comedy Mothership in Austin, Texas, September 29th and 30th. Full dates, MikeVecchione.com. Please buy tickets. I need to sell. And the special was wonderful. I appreciate all the support. And from the podcast also, but I need to sell tickets on the road. And it's a good show. The new hour is really coming together. So please buy tickets if I'm in your town. Please watch the special. It's on YouTube. Nateland presents The Attractives. The numbers are really good. And now the numbers on, it went to another platform. It's also on Nateland. So watch it there. But it's also on 800 Pound Gorilla, which did the production. And it's on their site. And it's up to almost 280,000 on that site. So it's 1.4 million on Nate's site and 280,000 on 800 Pound site. Please watch it on either platform. Continue to support the show. Wednesdays, 6 p.m. is our premiere, and I appreciate all the interaction. I jump on there sometimes to talk to you guys. So thank you for that, and thank you for watching and listening. Sean, what do you got coming up?
I'm at Shawnee Time on Instagram, and then I have a Twitter that's it's called UFO Street. If you go to UFO Street, you can follow it. It's videos of me asking people about questions about UFOs.
That's awesome.
And then I have a podcast called Brand New Jerks with a super funny comic named Reza Wadney. It's a podcast for recovering people pleasers, but we're on the same vein as you, man. It's hanging out. It's entertaining stories and bullshitting. And I will be September, I think the 7th to the 10th. I'll be at the House of Comedy in Vancouver for
very
the first
cool.
time. Yeah.
Great club.
I've never been to Vancouver.
It's fun.
And I can't wait to go.
It's fun.
And besides that, I'll be at Whale City Comedy Festival this Sunday for a Labor Day Sunday show in New Bedford. So I think it's whalecitycomedy.com or something like that.
Very cool.
It's a little like rock club show or whatever it is. So it should be fun. I'm excited.
Shawnee Time.
At Shawnee Time. That's SeanyTime.
And Shawnee Time. Sean is one of the funniest guys, so
Thank you,
really
dude.
check out his stuff.
That means a lot.
Shannon.
You can follow me on Instagram at ShannonLee6982. Listen to my podcast, The Thing Is Ding. We talk about bad dates, fighting, and ghosts. Wherever you listen to Mike Vecchione Investigates, you can also watch it live for free every single Thursday at 3 p.m. Eastern at gasdigital.com/live. That's absolutely free. The best way to support the show, especially if you're watching free right now, because this is just the month of August, use promo code MVI30 and you'll get a 30-day free trial, which gives you access to every single episode of this show we've ever done, as well as every single episode of every show on the Gas Digital Network, all for free for 30 days. If you listen on iTunes, YouTube, wherever you listen, make sure to rate, review, tell a friend, subscribe, leave a comment. Every little bit of interaction helps the show to grow. Go to merchengine.com for t-shirts, hoodies, and mugs. And if you have questions, comments, or your own video investigation to submit, send it in to MikeVecchioneInvestigates@gmail.com.
Well, thank you, Shannon. And now let's get to some stories.
Ooh.
Sean, we've had some fun.
We have. This has been a blast.
With a fun hang, which is why a lot of people join us now.
It's true.
Because I'm making an effort to do that. But now we have to do some hardcore investigation. Are you ready?
Yes, I believe so.
The first story is going to go right up your alley.
Okay.
Alien objects recovered by Harvard physicists from the bottom of the Pacific Ocean could be from an interstellar planet. Shannon, what's the story?
I feel like Sean's going to already know this. Do you
I
already
do.
know it?
Yeah, I do know.
Shannon knows it well.
It's
Some of us
Avi Loeb. And they're from Harvard. He's a scientist from Harvard.
probably reads a book.
But,
at a
but
bar.
go ahead, Shannon. I'm sorry. I don't want to.
No, that's totally fine. So, so they found this item, and here's a picture of it. This is what they found at the bottom of the Pacific Ocean.
Okay.
And they said that when they tested it, there were some elements in it that they had never seen before, and that they appear to be from outside of our solar system.
Wow.
And they don't know if it's off some sort of interstellar craft or if it's just from outside our solar system and it's natural. It's just natural,
Like a part of a
like
meteor.
a part of a planet or a meteor
Yeah.
or something like that. Exactly.
Wouldn't that be rude that another planet just crashes into our planet, but it's so small? It's such a small planet. It's the tiniest planet.
Like in The Simpsons when the meteor comes down and it goes, don't worry, it won't be the size of a chihuahua's head. And it just burns in the atmosphere and comes down to a chihuahua comes over and barks and runs away. The other thing is they've been looking for this stuff for a long time. The guy Avi Loeb is like real vocal about it. And he's a legitimate
Is
scientist.
it any relationship to Lisa Loeb?
I think it was.
You say I only hear what I want to.
Yes, I think it is. I think
Avi
that is
Loeb.
Avi Loeb. And then and then he had a bunch of scientists that have no leaning either way as far as the UAP issue goes. Test it, and what they came up with is it's not from our solar system. But they don't know if it's meteor or if it's like some other type of thing that was made by.
Maybe it was a warning shot for us to because the alien life is supposed to be like harmonic and get along better and understand these higher level ways of dealing with you. It's supposed to be like harmony because they're an advanced civilization. We're still like fighting each other and don't realize that we're all one, which we are. So it's like maybe it's a warning shot at us to be like, hey, figure it out.
Well,
do you think it's a message?
I think it may not the message because it was lying down there in the ocean. I think it might have been something that was meant to be a message. But remember, also they found. Remember Umama? Remember Umama? Not to be confused with Obama. They had an object that Avi Loeb was involved with as well. They were tracking this object that was from another solar system that was in orbit, and they think there was a bunch of scientists that thought it was an interstellar object, intelligently made that was using the orbits of these planets to get from solar system to solar system, because it was like whatever goes on in space, how we go around the sun and all that,
right.
Using that power to and then it ended up in our solar system, but it wasn't from here. So this happens, but the idea of it is hey, these could be natural occurring objects in space, or it could be somebody purposely put it out there to collect some information or whatever happened. There's a lot going on in that world.
Should we shoot it down with lasers just to be safe?
I think so.
Shoot it with lasers to let them know it's like, you're not from here. You're not from here. So why don't you go back to where you're from?
Just represent.
Yeah. What's up?
Earth represent.
What's up?
It's like the boys in the hood, like pulling your shirt up.
Yeah, we're the third planet from the sun, right? Aren't we the third?
We are, yeah.
Okay, so that's our address.
Yeah.
Third planet from the sun. And it's like, go back to your other... What is our solar system called?
Our solar system is
It's
the Milky
called
Way.
something?
Is
Is it Milky Way?
the solar system Milky Way?
It's the galaxy.
That's the galaxy.
Our
Milky Way
galaxy is
galaxy.
Milky Way?
Yeah.
But our solar system, I don't know what it would be. I don't know what it's called.
Well, it's like us, and then Pluto is the last planet. And it
then-
wasn't a planet for a while, but now it's back.
Now it's back. Yeah.
So we have like 7 planets, right? Is it 7?
No, it's 9 planets.
9
8 to
planets.
9 to 8. No, 9 to 8 to 9. Now it's 9.
9 planets.
But then,
In our solar system.
but in the search for exoplanets, they found out that even in our solar system, there's billions of planets, billions upon billions of planets. When any star that you see, there's a chance that at least one planet is surrounding that, orbiting like we orbit the sun. They didn't know that for years. They were like, "There's 9." Now they're like, "Oh, it's endless.
Oh my God, endless planets.
It goes on forever."
By
It's
the way,
everywhere.
our solar system is just called the solar system.
Okay,
It doesn't
that makes
have a
sense.
name.
Yeah.
So
Me-
what would another solar system be called? The other solar system?
That's all the other ones.
Solar System 2,
Yeah.
the sequel. Me and Shannon are both into this topic, right, Shannon?
What's?
Yes.
Can I ask you guys as experts? What's interstellar mean? Because I use that to describe my performances. I had an interstellar performance last weekend.
That means it was indoors and it was stellar.
Yeah, interstellar.
Interstellar.
What is that?
Among the stars, I think. I would guess that's just what that means. Like an interstellar, like that, an object that lives amongst the stars. In my approximation.
Right. And what planet is habitable by humans? Does Mars have water on it, or is it Jupiter?
Mars does, and
It's
Jupiter.
got
They
water.
think they think that the moons of Jupiter they think have like ice water or like the rings. They found out something about Jupiter's like rings, not rings, but their moon, the moon of Jupiter.
What if you went to Mars and it's like, because we heard they have water. So we go to Mars and we get off and we're looking for water and they have water fountains, but they're segregated. You go, whites only? Really? Come on, guys. You have water and this is what you do with it?
Racism goes deep.
Racism on Mars. You have the water and that's great, but then you decided to be racist with it.
By the way, I do
terrible.
have the answer. Mercury has frozen water. Venus, basically no water at all. Mars, ice, trace amounts of vapor, possibly liquid underground. Jupiter, water and frozen in vapor form. Saturn, same thing. Uranus, frozen water. Neptune, frozen water. Pluto, frozen water. And Ceres, some frozen water, possibly underground liquid water.
But Shannon, which one has water ice?
Which one has Ralph's?
Rita's water ice, South Philadelphia. Oh
They got
my God.
rainbow, cherry.
We had to take it back. Interesting story, Shannon. I think we've fully investigated that. Harvard physicist, so he's like a serious guy.
He's a serious guy.
Yeah.
But the minute you start talking about this stuff, they go, you're out of your mind.
You're out of
There's
your
so much of that.
But
that
how
happens.
did they find that at the bottom of it looks like a ball. It looks like, should we let a
They
dog
found-
play with it
it
and
wa-
then see if the dog becomes like interstellar? It's a ball.
Dog becomes
Maybe
magic.
maybe it came from a planet that's really fun.
I believe they found hundreds of those. They're tiny, but they found hundreds of them in the.
Do you think it's like a
Pacific Ocean.
pickleball that just rolled too far away from the other planet that it's on, and we found it, and they're like, "Could you give us all of our balls back? We have a pickleball tournament going on here. It's the fastest rising sport on Mars."
Racist Mars. I love racist Mars.
Racist Mars. He's got water. They're separate fountains now.
By the way, I think that what happened was in 2014, there was IM-1 interrupted into a fireball as it crashed into the Pacific near Papua New Guinea.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe that since then, they have been trying to find whatever it was that crashed into the water.
Papua
Yeah,
New
okay.
Guinea is what I used to call my father. It's an Italian ethnic slur.
I like that one.
Papua New Guinea, as opposed to Papa John's. All right. Well, that was education.
Well, I'm Irish. I call mine Papa No Guinea.
Papa No Guinea's allowed if you know what's good for you. I love that. I love Irish aggression. you know what's good for you. It's like, all right, everybody.
No kitties in his house.
Everybody calm down. Everybody calm down. I just came over to see Sean. Good one.
That's a good one. I like it. But we could talk about. I could talk about that topic forever.
Well, let's move on. Ukrainian sisters arrested for twerking on the graves of fallen soldiers face 5 years in prison. Shannon, what is the story? Is there no end to this twerking?
No. So these two girls were actually going to visit the grave of their father, who apparently died defending the Ukrainian people. And I can show you like a couple of screenshots from the video that they took. See, here's one of the two of them at the grave site.
Okay.
That's appropriate for a grave.
Oh, wow.
This is mid.
That makes me want to be alive, not dead.
Do you think it could be that like if you do enough twerking, you can develop something like Tourette's, where you can't control where you twerk? So that's why it happened, like twerkettes?
Yeah. Twerkettes. Twerking until you get Tourette's. Twerking your way into a developmental disability.
Yep. And that's,
Do you think that's
they couldn't
possible?
control it. It's very possible.
But do you think that there may be, and I'm going to go, I'm a glasses half full type person, but do you think that they are faced with the daunting idea of death and then they're just celebrating life to the fullest extent with twerking and we're all getting the wrong idea?
They're getting too sad at the gravestone?
Yeah.
And they go, what would cheer me up?
Yes.
Immediately.
Right.
Twerking.
Yeah, twerking.
I don't care where I am. I got to twerk.
You got to twerk. Do you think the Ukraine is going to twerk their way out of this war?
Sure.
I would like to see them get out
Is
of
that
it.
how they retreat?
They did it in the most sexy way possible.
Could you? I feel like you would throw off the other army.
Yes.
If you just started twerking. If there was
Right.
thousands of people twerking
Right.
in the middle of a battlefield,
Yeah.
wouldn't you be, as another soldier from the other side, wouldn't you be put off by that and just maybe back up?
Back up in
Back up.
Unison too. It's like the Thriller video where they're like facing off and then dancing and kind of knifing each other.
Yeah.
Thriller was a great video.
Beat It as well had like the
Oh,
dance
that's what it
fight.
was. It was Beat It.
Beat It, yeah.
Thriller was the other one.
Thriller had the
Yeah,
zombies.
the dance, the
this one,
zombies
yeah.
dancing. But Beat It was the more, But that's interesting though, because I think that's called a flash mob when they all do it together, right?
That's what the whole Ukrainian war was.
The whole war is a flash mob.
Longest build up for a flash mob. Thousands of casualties. Just because it's it's Putin's birthday.
Well, Putin took down that guy. He took down the resistance guy.
I saw
They blew
that.
up his plane.
Also, didn't that seem like that was out of a movie to you? When they're like,
oh, I thought that guy, as soon as that guy said he was the resistance, I'm like, oh, that guy's dead.
Yes.
Putin is a vicious. I just don't understand. It's like he's the leader of Russia. It's like he's a thug. Man.
He's an
a
animal.
Gangster.
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
a gangster. He's anybody who goes like this journalist had an opposing viewpoint. It's like poisoned, immediately poisoned. It's like there's not even a pretense for like he could have had some bad fish. It's like poisoned immediately. It's just over.
There's no room for debate.
No.
But I saw that guy. I thought the same thing. I was like, what are you doing, dude? What? And he's just like kind of hanging out. They're like, didn't they go to his house and like he was there one day? And it's like, why aren't you on the run? What are you still doing in the
I would
whatever
be
you
over
were?
here somewhere on a book tour.
That's what he should have done.
He should have done it. He should have
100%.
done a podcast tour over here.
Him and Britney Griner. They could have came over together.
And Britney Spears. I'm
And
sure
Britney.
she could have got involved somewhere.
100%.
She's getting a divorce, by the way. Do you celebrate it?
Her divorce?
Yeah.
By twerking or just in
No,
general?
no. I'm sure there was twerking involved because
Yeah.
of Britney. But no, she's getting a divorce.
You know what? I think
Because I think she cheated with one of the people that works for her. I think the guy that she was with was probably a good. From the articles I'm reading, he's like a decent guy.
that was like the other
He's a
guy.
good guy.
The other guy, Kevin Federline. Apparently, he's not a bad guy.
No.
Like, takes care of those kids.
Right. He's got the kids, full custody. He moved to Hawaii. which
Yes,
is
I remember that.
bad now. But
Let me ask you this. I actually see why she went bonkers because there was an article that popped up on my phone, you know, and it was Britney Spears. We got a glimpse at her what her kitchen looks like, and we have some comments, and I'm like, imagine living like that's the headline of an article that somebody had a video of your kitchen,
Yeah.
and they're just gonna shit all over.
Yeah.
That's her for 30 years.
But I would be trying to get people in my kitchen just to have them there so that I could do content, my cooking show. I don't know. It's
You know what I mean?
Yeah, but it's a curse, and it's like, yeah, I guess if you get it too young and your mind is still developing,
Yeah.
and you weren't raised like in a stable way to realize, oh, this is all fake. It's not fake, it's a real, but it's all like
Show
not
business.
important,
Right.
and it's not relevant. The important things are to focus on your family, your mental health, and all
Right.
this stuff. So if you're too young or you don't have the guidance, and now you're just out in the world, you're just out in the world, kind of like just flailing.
Yes. 100%.
So that's what it kind of seems like.
And then she's just been doing that for years and years and
Yeah,
years.
and I'm sure there's people. I don't know if it was her family. Her family's like in this thing where it's like they're trying to protect her.
The conservatorship.
The conservatorship,
Yeah.
and everybody's like free Britney, and then like, she got free, and then it's like, oh, this is
why, yeah,
and this is why. So maybe the family was really looking out for her, and her people villainized them as trying to control her and take all her money.
Yeah.
It's like, it's a tough thing.
It's
a
tough.
tough thing.
Well, poor Britney.
Poor Britney. But it would be great if you could have like the awareness just to just make that money and then just low key it.
And just
And then just go out selectively. You know, there's a way of controlling it. You know,
Well, you
there's a
keep
way,
your sanity.
Yeah, yes. Keep your
Yes.
sanity and control it. But it's still like a thing where it's like she's so famous she can't go out in public, you know.
Well, that's the thing. I just saw, kind of related to what you just said, a clip. Somebody asked Dana White about Ronda Rousey coming back, and he was like, "Where'd you see that?" And he's like, "Oh, Daily Mail." And he's like, "Are you stupid?" And he's like, "Look, she made $1 bazillion. Like, she was with us.
Right.
She wanted to go to WWE. She has kids now. She moved on." I'm like, she might have done that. She might have been like, I cashed in, especially with somebody like that level of something.
I don't
sports
think
stuff.
that happened with her. I think what happened with her is she was just so dominant. She had like a sprint where it was a short window, but she was so dominant. She was just like ripping people's arms off.
Right.
She had that move, that judo thing where she would, choke people out basically or tap them out. So she did that, and then she ran into Holly Holm, who was a striker, and knocked her out. And then she Nunez, who's one of the all-time greats, and knocked her out. So she ran two of those people at one time, and then was like, "Oh, this is over." It's like it's not necessarily, as a guy who I wrestled and lost a lot.
Yeah.
So it's like it's not necessarily over. It's just like she was so dominant, and then when you take that loss, especially in a brutal way, twice,
and public opinion is like,
yeah,
okay,
and then
done.
you're listening to everybody go, she's done. It's like, no. Let's all hold on for a second. Give her a fight that's winnable. I'm not saying set it up, but like just give her somebody who would appreciate the shot,
Yeah.
but winnable, and go out and get your confidence back. And slowly, like,
Right.
boxing's there's a lot of problems with boxing, and I'm a big advocate for the boxing being under one umbrella and
Will never happen. you think,
it's just a clown show the way that it's run. But one thing boxing does is that boxing will do that. It'll give you like some fights to get back your like whatever.
Well,
even
did it
if
with
they're like
Tyson,
smaller, even if they're not whatever, it's just like give her a couple to get back into like whatever to like her confidence
into
back.
the conversation.
And then she can compete on that level again. But she didn't. I think she was so jolted by those two losses that she just was like, "This is over."
Yeah.
But she's a super talented, I was a big fan. It's unbelievable.
But that does happen in boxing where you can be exposed. The minute you're kind of like your secret Achilles heel is kind of exposed, you're kind of a little bit screwed. You could, like the Klitschko thing was like that, right?
You're screwed. You're screwed from it's because people don't get the nuance of things. It's like somebody loses in boxing, and that's like the death. It's like, oh, his record is his blemish now. It's like, I don't care. I follow boxing enough to be like, I want to see that guy fight this guy now. I want to see everybody should fight everybody. I want to see everybody fight everybody, and I would pay to see all that.
Yeah.
And I don't care that you're imperfect. I don't care that this guy got the best of you on this night.
Because you're an actual fan.
Yeah, I'm an actual fan. I want to see the competition. These guys are at the highest level.
Yeah.
And what makes it even better, most of these guys are coming from abject poverty
It's like saying if LeBron
to become world champions, and it's just it's an unbelievable story to me.
It's like you're saying, like, if LeBron lost one championship, he'd be done. Or at one playoff season, he'd be done.
He'd be done.
It's so major.
Yeah.
Because everything's riding that one fight for them. So that makes sense.
But there's a little bit more in basketball now where it's like if we don't win, it's such a panic. It's like, oh, I need to win championships because that's how we measured everybody else. But I have respect for the guys who are like, can you imagine, like, I don't really follow basketball, but like if those three guys stayed in OKC, if Westbrook, Durant, and who's the guy with the beard? James Harden. James Harden.
I said Corden again.
If those guys
I had him on the brain.
If those guys stay in OKC with that coach was like a great young coach, I go, these guys are going to be massively dominant.
Yeah.
But they didn't.
Right.
They
Because
got paid like, oh, we got to win. We're never gonna. It's like no,
money
just
and ego and Stay put.
Yeah, stay put, or like keep on message. Believe in the guys around you. Like, believe in it and fight to win. And then like the Bulls did.
Oh, the Bulls did.
Like, oh, we can't be.
That would never
add
happen.
some pieces. Add Pippen. Like Pippen was the biggest the hugest like reason for their success.
Well, even the three
Besides Jordan.
the three guys on the Heat, LeBron was Bosh and Dwayne Wade. Is that what it was?
Yeah.
And then how long they lasted on that? That was brief because
Yeah.
they were just getting offers.
Yeah.
Constantly, hey, let's break up this trio.
Right.
But back in the day, that probably could have happened to the Bulls. I'm guessing.
Right.
And any one of them could have been a star on some other team.
Yes.
And they didn't do it.
They didn't do
and
it.
that's why they're still talked about to this day.
Yeah.
I would guess. I'm
Yeah.
also like you. I'm like, I know a little bit about basketball, but not a ton.
Yeah.
Sorry to go off on the rails there.
That's all right. But it was interesting that these girls were twerking, and we got it. But that's what this is. The investigation takes us where the investigation takes us.
It might be Michael Jordan that sent them over there to do that.
We got to Michael Jordan at the end of this.
Oh, great, okay.
Ukrainian sisters twerking. I'm a flight attendant. Why showing up late to the airport could benefit you. I love stories like this where they're like, the common knowledge is you need to drink 8 glasses of water a day, and it's like you should dehydrate yourself completely. That's actually the opposite. The opposite is of common knowledge.
Why heroin makes you live longer?
Yeah, heroin's great for you now in small. And then there's all kinds of qualifiers in the article.
Yeah.
I'm a flight attendant. Why showing up late to the airport could benefit you, Shannon. How could it benefit us, Shannon?
Okay, so what they say is that sometimes if a flight is oversold, that the last people to show up are kind of like the extras, and that those are the ones that they're more likely to bump up to business class or first class.
Yeah, but you could also be the one that they offer you
Another flight.
another flight,
Yes.
which happens more than them going first class. I think. I've been offered, hey, in check-in. If I'm like I said, I'm obsessive about this stuff, but. Even me checking.
But if you're
early,
traveling with your girl, you're always going to be late.
always going to be late.
So this is good for you. This article.
But they say, hey, if we'll give you X amount to take the next flight and get in like 3 hours later.
What do you say when you walk to the counter and you're late for the flight because your girl? Do you go, my girl has a disability where she doesn't acknowledge time.
My girl is in another dimension. My girl is she's a sprite.
My girl doesn't play by your rules.
She lives in between. Yeah, you're what you call space time. You and your schedules.
I find this to be, I call nonsense on this one because it's
How often is that happening?
Well, don't they have a
think
list?
it's so
don't they
lucky.
have a list of bump ups? They have a list on Delta.
Yes.
I think it's funny that I'm a super medallion member on Delta, but I'm a nobody on JetBlue.
It's like
JetBlue,
being huge,
they spit on me.
like a huge on TikTok, but a nobody on Snapchat.
Yeah, it's like I want to go back to Delta.
But they have a couple other pointers.
Oh,
here. So they say it's also great to fly on your birthday, because there's a better chance that they're going to give you a free drink or a free meal or something like that.
And the whole plane can sing to you. When you say that in first class, I would go, it's my birthday, and I want everybody in coach to sing to me.
like a prince.
Yeah. Wouldn't that be great? You demand everybody in basic economy to sing to you. Make these poor people, I hear poor people have better voices.
Make them do it as they're walking through to their seats.
You sing happy birthday to me.
This moment is not awkward enough for me. Make them do it. And what was the other point? That was it?
Oh, and they also say that if you have a special occasion, if that's what you're flying for, make sure to tell the flight attendants. This one says if she sees honeymooners, she'll bring them extra treats from business class, a glass of champagne, or try to make their flight more special, blah, blah, blah.
So her advice is
Lie.
show up late, and then also just, what was the last one? Oh, you only fly one day of the year, your birthday. Great article.
Wow, this flight attendant sounds like a bad person. She really does. I'm going to do that on a flight to San Diego. I'm just going to tell I'm sitting with Katie, so I'm just going to say that it's our anniversary. But she doesn't have her ring because it's being reset.
There you go. I like that.
I'll just double lie.
I like a step two.
Yeah.
That lie. Yeah. Wow. I just, it's
a lot
also
of
a thing
tricks
with
to
like
these airlines.
the amount of things that have to go right for this. That you have to have somebody that's, you could get on, if we're going on a plane and they don't give a shit sometimes. They're just going to go, you getting married? Good for you. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Like, but you have to really get a good one for them to be like, here's a bunch of stuff on the plane. There's extra pretzels on this plane.
Yeah.
I did have it happen once when I was flying to Curacao for my 40th birthday. And then I was with my sister and my aunt, and we were drinking. And then we were like, oh, it's my birthday. And then we didn't pay for another drink the whole flight. He just kept bringing bottles of Tito's to us the whole flight.
But that's because he wanted to sleep with you.
I think he may have been gay. I don't know that he was a straight man.
Wow.
But he was great. It was so much fun.
Yeah, that's really cool. Yeah.
But do you know
It's a
that
hard job.
There's a big rule now that you're not allowed to bring your own alcohol on the flight. They
Wasn't
always
that
make
always the case?
They always make that announcement. It's like you're not allowed to, if you're drinking your own alcohol on the flight, that's illegal. And it's like, what? When did that become a thing? Like no smoking. It's like you can't bring your own alcohol on the flight and drink it.
Are you being serious?
No, I'm being serious. They
But-
make that announcement now all the time. It's a routine announcement.
I thought it was always that makes sense to me.
It kind of makes
People
sense
just
to me too, but they never made such a big deal of it
No,
before.
I think that now
they make a
because of
huge deal.
these brawls and these whatever, or that one woman who thought she saw like a lizard person. Remember that lady?
Yes.
That motherfucker is not real. That's what she.
And then she attacked a guy on the way out of the plane and got away. Like she
like
got
punched
away.
a guy or something,
Yeah,
right?
she
Yeah.
punched a guy, and the guy was like, "This is nuts."
and then tried to get back on the flight apparently. And then she did her own Twitter explaining what happened, and she's smoking hot. She's very hot.
Well, that's probably why.
Yeah, that's why.
She apologized.
She didn't apologize.
She didn't.
She did. Yeah.
She did. Right.
Yeah.
I saw that. Yeah. Okay. Last one.
Okay.
Because we're 105, but we have to go over.
Let's do it.
All right. It's bonus minutes for you guys, by the way. I caught my boyfriend cheating right before our 9-week vacation. Here's how I got revenge, Shannon.
Okay, so it was the night before that she saw messages between a friend and her boyfriend and found out about this
friend?
affair. Yes,
Oh,
a mutual
wow.
friend, yeah. And she didn't want to cancel a trip because that would be thousands of dollars. It's too close to flying out, so she would have lost all the money. So she, I'm going to show you an example.
Sounds like the premise for Forgetting Sarah Marshall.
Groom Jay Siegel.
So she took pictures with like little Post-it notes in all of them. So here's an example. I don't know if you can read it. It says, my boyfriend and I have been dating for a year and a half now. Here's the first one. But he would often take trips with his buddy to screw other women behind my back.
Hashtag I know.
Wow.
He doesn't know that I know he's cheating on me.
Oh my
Wow.
God. But his face is blurred out. I guess they
Yeah.
can.
I think, yeah. So what she says is what she did afterwards with all these pictures is she like made a reel where she cut them all together and then sent it to him.
Oof.
So he could see.
Like on Instagram?
Yeah, on Instagram.
What's with the artistic integrity of getting revenge on somebody?
Yeah, also, how
what
does-
about just a screaming fight? It's like, I can't believe you did this. Or I'd rather just be stabbed.
Also-
just stab me.
How distraught can you be if you're making Post-it notes?
Yeah.
Shouldn't she just be beside herself?
Yeah.
They were getting married, right?
Yeah.
I don't know about that part.
I'm getting crushed.
okay, it's just her boyfriend.
I'm getting
Yeah.
crushed emotionally right now.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can turn this into a independent film.
Yeah, I go to this stationery store and really work on this
Yeah.
revenge.
I know. This stuff real? Let's read some of the
Do you
comments.
guys have
Shannon.
multicolored pens? My boyfriend cheated on me.
While I scroll down for the comments, it does say that in the comments from her TikTok that people were asking, like, how are you taking the picture without him realizing that you're putting the note in front of him? And she said that she told him that she was putting, like, cute little sayings and that she was going to, like, assemble them nice afterwards. So,
Oh, I would have just said we fixed it in post.
You know what? At first I thought he was now I think she's the asshole. It's like one thing, I was on her side up until that point where it's like, that's too much effort. Just I'd rather you punch the guy in the face.
Did you ever hear of sleeping with his friends
Yeah.
for revenge?
Yeah.
And get pregnant. And then have a baby and then raise it to avenge you.
Kill Bill it. Well,
that Kill Bill?
that's not Kill Bill, but that's what everybody thought was going to happen with Kill Bill.
No wonder he cheated. You can't determine someone's character, how they respond to adversity. So losing a few thousand is more important than acting like an adult and canceling. And she feels the need to get strangers to validate her payback. Sad, pathetic woman. He did wrong, but she is no prize. Good. Maybe, I think that's him. That's him as another character.
Kin too.
Just blaming the victim.
It's also like it's got to be great to be judged in the court of comments,
yeah.
social media
Do
comments.
you ever think, like, I'm just going to have a baby and then put his picture on YouTube and then just have the comments raise him? Look at who's sucking their thumb now. Look at you. Look at you sucking your thumb. Probably voted for Trump.
This baby, you haven't even started walking yet? Loser. Boring.
Oh my God, you suck.
The comments were
Scott Balthazar says, I, not being tech savvy, wonder, isn't there a way to add captions or written description declarations to each picture post-production, thereby not needing to hold up post-it notes? This is a great point. Wouldn't he want to know what one... Okay, that's what you said, Shannon.
Yeah.
Last, do people need this much attention and applause from strangers to justify their existence?
Now they do, yeah.
Yeah.
Now
some women-hating men. These are incels. Everyone's just attacking the woman here.
Everybody attacking the woman for her creative way that she went about
Right.
this.
Yeah, she's
But
she's still in the right. You know, I was
Could
kidding.
you agree, Shannon? This is a little nut. I mean, if this is real, that's nuts that she took this creative approach to getting him back and made it like such a public thing in order to gain,
I think that's
guess,
just
followers.
how young people think these days, I think.
Do they really?
Where it's like,
I mean,
this
if somebody were cheating on me, like when I was young, when somebody did, I was just gutted.
Right.
There was no like, how am I going to creatively make this?
You wouldn't think about pulling out your phone.
I was just.
Meaning like you'd be beside yourself. You
I
would
was
not,
just gutted.
Right.
I was physically doubled over. in pain.
Right. Which proves that there's two things going on here. That you're right. I think it's generational, or that cheating. She doesn't give that much of a shit. She doesn't. It's if you're getting into that level of revenge, and you're using it to create followers. Also, there's a 50-50 shot that it's bullshit. Because you ever see that thing where there's like 99% of the videos online are fake anyway. Even the ones you can tell when it's bad acting.
Yeah.
But where even the ones with like people will show the money, and then there's a guy who has an account where he'll like tell you why the video is fake. He'll be like, if you zoom in here, it says money not for actual use. So I always, whenever I see anything now, I'm like, it's fake. It's always fake. But there's got to be some real video.
But do you think it's Russian bots?
Probably.
But I don't know if Russians even understand. Like they're culturally different than us. They would even think of this. Like Russians are like they don't even understand.
They'd be like, just get
that
over
this
it.
is a thing.
Yeah. Just go to work the next day.
Yeah.
We don't even know what you're talking about. That's my Russian accent.
We got to do one. It was great.
Thanks, buddy.
We got to do one more. Beer goggles no longer an honest excuse for your drunken hookup. New research. This is research now, Sean. And I wanted to do this because you're Irish.
Okay.
And beer goggles are no longer an honest excuse for a drunk hookup. New research is in, Shannon. And what's this new research say?
Okay, so they did an experiment. They gave a bunch of guys 3 drinks over the course of a half an hour. And then
was that guy from the last story? He was one of them.
Beer goggles.
That's why he cheated. That was part of research.
He was doing research.
Sorry, go ahead. Sorry, Shannon.
That's okay. So they showed them a bunch of pictures of girls, but then also said there was the opportunity to like hang out with them afterwards because there needs to be like that extra little piece of it. And they acknowledged that not only did they not find like less attractive girls more attractive, but they got more gutsy about approaching the very attractive girls. So it's like the opposite.
Oh.
Does that make sense what I said?
Yes.
But beer is... So they're saying it's not false that beer gives you confidence.
But it
gives you confidence to go higher than you instead of lower.
Yes,
the confident thing is beer muscles.
But they didn't wait till at the end of the night after the hot girls
that's true.
told them no, and then they were just hanging out at the bar, and they're like, "Yeah, let's give this one more shot. I'm not going home alone."
Stop trying to 3D print a drunken hookup. You fucking nerds. Just go do field research if you're going to do this research.
Yeah, this research.
This can't happen in a vacuum. Sorry.
I think this research is wrong.
I think it
actually shows the wrong thing. It's like, yeah, of course you're going to go for the hottest girl first and have the most confidence, but after you're rejected by all of them and it's 3 a.m., you're going to go for whoever is left.
And then half the time anyway, you're using the beer goggles as an excuse to your friends anyway.
Yeah.
You're going, I was drunk.
Yeah,
but when you probably would have done it sober.
Yes.
That's all. That's all. It's so funny. Come on.
I mean,
who are you dealing with here? Amateurs?
I know. We got to the bottom of that one.
We figured that one out.
New York Post, everybody.
It's the New York Post. The #1 newspaper in the New York area. I love the Post. All right. Well, Sean, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
This was
a blast.
awesome, man. I had a blast. You've just reinvigorated my investigatory prowess. I love it now.
You are a top-notch investigator.
Thank you, buddy.
I wish you best with your future cases and everything going on into the future.
And this is a lesson for you guys out there. Sean's come on and Basically, if you're at a bar and someone's reading a book, leave them alone. Just leave them alone. Don't even try to talk to them about it, okay?
And to reiterate, I probably did grab the book. I'm not thinking about, memories aren't that. They're not that. You can't count on your memories. But let's be honest. The facts, based off our research and our investigation, I probably swiped the book out of the guy's fucking hand.
Book. For Sean Donnelly, for Shannon, I'm Mike Vecchione. We'll see you guys next week. Guys, thank you for listening to Mike Vecchione Investigates. And if you go to gasdigitalnetwork.com and use promo code MBI, you will get 1 week free. That's gasdigitalnetwork.com, promo code MBI, you will get 1 week free. Thank you again for listening to Mike Vecchione Investigates on the Gas Digital Network.